Okay, I think I should do it with the earpiece. I think the earpiece is fine. Okay, I think I should just do it with the earpiece. So we are live again, guys. So let me just switch this off. So I'm just gonna send the link to the class. Do that very quickly, so we can get on with the class tonight. The link has been sent to the class, and okay, let me just quickly send it to more persons. So oh, Mr. Jolas is here already. Awesome. So we can just start with the class. Tonight we'll not be spending much time. I believe you all can hear me clearly. Please, as you join the class, do well to introduce yourself so we can get on. I think I can just do away with my jacket. I can just get off my jacket. It's quite hot in here. Um, Sorry, this is kind of dark. But, so we have Nigeria. It's Nigeria. Okay. So before I go into the main study for tonight, I just want to talk to us very quickly. Okay, I think I would wait for others to join before I say this because I got a lot of questions. A lot of persons are worried about the forthcoming TMA, how they will go about it. So I'll wait for others to join the class so that we can talk about it. So tonight, when we staying long because it's midnight already, and many of us still have to go to work tomorrow. Today. So so yesterday we spoke about we ended the discussion with intelligence quotient, which is IQ, and we were able to discuss that. So yesterday we said we were able to establish that intelligence quotient is the measurement of an individual's intelligence by the use of tests. We're also able to establish that intelligence quotient can also mean the measurement of an individual's intelligence with the use of numbers. And if you remember very well, we said something about CA and MA. We said the MA should always be higher than the CA. It's a problem when the CA is higher, when the CA is higher than, or the CA or the BA. We said the BA is the biological age, the CA is the chronological age, and we said the MA is the mental age. So it is very important that the MA is higher. Okay, we have two persons. Please, can you introduce yourself as you join the class? Can you please introduce yourself as you join the class? Okay, I think I might need to adjust my seat a bit. Okay, so we were made to understand that the MA needs to be greater than the CA for us to, okay, patience is with us. Okay, with Perky. So Mr. Jolas and Perky, they are with us already. So who is the third person? Please do well to introduce yourself. So yes, they were able to establish that the MA should be greater than the CA or the BA. So with that being said, I think that concludes our discussion yesterday. So today we'll be talking about, okay, I think we also said something about the intelligent performance. We said globally everybody, like globally, intelligence. Someone has clicked on the like button and the person clicked on it again. Why? You are supposed to click on the like button once. If you do it twice, that means you unlike. Please don't do it again. Just click on it once and it means you have liked the video. So we are made to understand that individuals differs, and our our aptitude, our attitude, our we are all different and unique. You understand? So we also made to understand that an individual called Gardner, it suggests that intelligence comes in different ways. Some persons might be good at mathematics and they are terrible at history. So that's why um, Gardner suggests that you can't be all round intelligent, but he said definitely you can work on yourself and be intelligent in almost all field, knowledgeable in almost all field. And yesterday we were able to talk about the convergence and the divergence. And we're able to, if you all remember vividly, we said something about the open test and we said something about the intelligence test. And the key word there is that the open test, the converger, which is the same thing as convergence, they are very good at intelligence tests. And we were made to understand that intelligence test means that they can carry out instruction perfectly, they wait on instruction and they carry it out perfectly without error. But the reverse is the case with the divergers. So now we we said something about the convergers, which that they can carry out tests, intelligence tests, absolutely. Awesome. We have fun. Oh, Miss Justina is with us. So awesome. Okay. So who is the fourth person? Good morning, everyone. Oh, thank you very much. Justina is greeting every one of us. So we said so that is that about the converger. Now that we are four, probably in between the class, I will explain a thing or two about the TME because I got a lot of questions tonight. While I was at work, I was attending to a lot of persons asking questions about the forthcoming TME. I think I'm just going to give one or two inputs, understand, so we can all be at rest. There's nothing to be worried about actually. So I'm going to say that in between the class. So just very quickly, because tonight I don't want us to stay long. It's midnight already, and you can imagine I've been at work all day and so exhausted, but I just have to do this class tonight. So the divergers, they are the one that are good with the open-ended test, but they are very terrible at intelligence tests. Please, if you're here to like the video, do well to like the video. So we said something about mental ability yesterday, and we are made to understand that mental ability is the capacity to comprehend without stress. And our Sana said most important element in all education is the element of individual difference. Our Sana said so, and we said characteristics of people universally is valid and important as they differ. That's our Sana saying something about mental ability. So that is that for that. So we also said something about the normal probability curve, which is the mental ability. Now the mental ability curve looks just like a bell. You understand? And as simple as it looks, it does not really mean it's that simple. You understand? So we said something about it's still boiling down to how we all are different in the level of intelligence. So that is that for that. I will say something about the defect in IQ. That's the defect, its advantage, like some shortcomings in intelligence quotient. So just like as I gave the explanation of yesterday, that a lot of persons, like 99.9 population of the world, is only using 1% of the capacity of their brain. So we have and this Baron said argues that score determines the simple manner begins to decrease maturity age. And now Baron said that when you grow to a certain age, your IQ begins to drop, which is very true. But like we see elderly people when they get to a certain age, they really don't know, they begin to act like a child. So that's one of the defects, the defects of IQ. When you go to a certain age, then your IQ begins to drop. So, with all this being said, let's go into today's discussion. Now, today's discussion is going to be about explaining behavior, genetic influences, and environmental influences. Now, behavior genetic. Now, what's our genetic? Genetic is made of our genes, what makes us up, and this genetics actually from both male and female sperm. I mean, genetics are always coming from it's what makes us up as human. Your genetics, you got them from your parents, is what makes, and it's the effort of the combination of your mom and your dad that makes up your own genetic, and you actually have your genetic has some features gotten from your parents. So we have behavior genetic influences and environmental influence. This simply means that you know your behavior, how is it influenced by your genetics, and how is the environment, how does it influence your behavior. So we'll know that in this, and we are in the unit 3. On my soft copy here showing page 74. I don't know what is showing in your own. Are we all there? Page 74, unit 3. Please, if we are all there, let's just signify so we can know we are on the same page and we can move on very fast. So, Mr. Jolas, Miss Justina, and Pricky, are we all there? So we can move on. Okay, hard copy is on page 56. Also, for as many of us who are using the hard copy, Mr. Jolas just made it easy for us now. He said it's on page 56. But on my soft copy here, it's showing page 74. Okay, Justina said not yet. So Justina, please try and locate it so we can all be on the same page. So now the introduction says, okay, Pricky said yes, she's there. Awesome. So Justina, please do well to locate it and let's move on together very fast tonight. So so we have discussed individual differences in intelligence. This unit will serve as introduction. Basically, it's an introduction to the course, and we'll explain. Okay, probability curve has been explained. Okay, yes. So we are good. So now we are going to be talking about the behavior genetic influences. Now, one of the longest running debates in psychology is the nature versus nurture. Please let's take that down. That's a key point, very important. It's a very important key point. It says one of the longest running debates in psychology is the nature versus nurture. Nature is natural, nurture is what we make up. Maybe I can call it artificial. I will take that again. One of the longest running debates in psychology is the nature versus nurture debate. Now, I believe we've taken that down. This relates to the question of whether behavior is best explained by reference to genetic or environmental factor. So now the argument here is that what exactly influences our behavior? Is it our nature or our environment? If you ask me, I am strongly of the opinion that what influences our behavior is our nature. The environment has its part to play, but it's still basically our nature. Now, let me give us an example. No matter how much you feed a lizard, can the lizard ever become a crocodile? I leave that question for us to answer. So let's just continue. Um, Note that at times the issue divides the academic community, with proponents of both schools of thought providing evidence supporting their own view. Okay, it's a debate, that's bound to happen. Everybody wants to prove his or her point, you know, everybody bringing up their idea just to try and prove if it's by nature or it's by the environment. So now the question is important for number of reasons. Now, if it is possible to prove that a person's gene, which is genetic, your genes, predominantly determine certain aspects of the behavior, then there is little point in trying to change people by using external influences. Exactly. The nature of a man is his nature. Truly, if you, for example, if a Nigerian goes abroad and stays there for donkey of years, the Nigerian can blend in, can begin to speak at them, feels as if he or she is one of them. But the truth is that you are not one of them. You are you're a black man, you're an African. No matter how much influential, no matter how much influence the environment can put on a person, then it doesn't change the nature of that person. You can imagine the illustration I give about feeding a lizard with food of crocodiles. No matter how much you feed, no matter how much it eats, the lizard can never become a crocodile because the lizard is not meant. The genetic of a lizard is not the same thing with that of a crocodile. So that is that for that. So similarly, if genetics were found to largely determine criminality, there would be profound implication regarding how society deals with this who exhibit criminal tendencies for an early age. Very true. If one were to believe in such a viewpoint, then one would want to advocate that such individuals be incarcerated at early age and not be released. Punishment and rehabilitation would presumably be a waste of time because such individual would be unable to overthrow the powerful effect of genetics and makeup. Well, to some extent, no matter how much you want to act as if this is actually there's a slim line between this actually because as man that we are, let me try and relate this into spiritual things now. As man that we are, it is said that men are not perfect, but we are working towards perfection. So now what they are saying now, he said, if the tendency that it is in the genetic of a man to be stealing, if it is in his genetic from it from birth to be stealing, that is a thief. Now they are now saying it's not a waste of time to place that person in an environment whereby stealing is prohibited, meaning that the culture they teach them not to steal. Would it not have been better to have incarcerated such a person from childhood? Now, you know, even though it's in your gene to steal, to be a thief, I believe sometimes environment can influence you to change. So that's why I say there's actually a slim line between the influence of genetics on determining an individual's behavior and the influence of environment on determining an individual's behavior. Both has predominantly both can predominantly influence behavior, but I'm still of the opinion that genetics has more predominant effect over environment. So we'll get to understand more in the course. While it is true that a person's genetics make up does affect their behavior, now they can agree. I think we are up to 5 now. So maybe after our self-assessment, I'll talk about the TMA a little bit, then we can move on. So now, while it is true that a person's genetic makeup does affect, their behavior, it is rarely in such an absolute way as implied by example above. Now, it is important for you to note that these days psychologists rarely talk about behavior being determined by their hereditary or the environment. Most psychologists would accept that any behavior results from the interaction between genetic factor and now. Very true. Behavior, why do we have to differentiate when both have predominant effect on behavior? So maybe we can say both the genetic and environment, not trying to separate them. both genetic and environment has a predominant effect on an individual's behavior. Now, our first self exercise says examine what you understand by nature. Yeah, examine what you understand by nature and what is nurture. I believe that's the first thing I spoke about. When we say nature, nature is anything natural, anything biological is natural. You understand the concepts of creation, natural, and biological. But when we say nurture, nurture could be artificial. Nurture is not natural. Nurture is what you introduce. Nurture is what you make up, what you produce, what you see through. You can nurture. So that's what nurture and behavior is all about. So let us okay now. Every human being comes into this world with a genetic makeup. Definitely. There's a genetic makeup, and this genetic makeup can't be possible without the effort of a man and a woman. So we are in an advanced world now whereby we have um lab that develops sperm, but definitely they still have to get that sperm. It's very, very necessary. They can't generate that sperm. They can never, let me be careful of the word. I mean, they can't generate that semen. You understand? They can't generate semen. So they have to still get that semen. Then they will now produce the semen. So so that's that for that. Meaning that the world will you know the world with a genetic makeup. Okay, every human being has a genetic makeup, and it's this genetic makeup that determines our behavior. Note that this is the blueprint for the individual's passage through life. Exactly. Now, let's take this down. Genetic makeup is the blueprint for an individual passage through life. Can we take that down, please? Genetic makeup is the passage genetic makeup is the blueprint for the individual's passage through life. Genetic makeup is the blueprint of the individual's passage through life. Now, originating from his or her parents, genetic makeup is the blueprint of an individual's passage through life, originating or I think we have what was originating or emanating from his or her parents. The passage, let's not forget that. Okay, now the first keyword is the blueprint. Then the passage through what? Through life. By the effort of who? His or her parents. So we have when a baby is first born, like when a child is given birth to, relatives often look to see whether the child looks more like the mother or the father. So we shouldn't dwell much on this. I think it's all about genetics. Genetics is the genetic makeup has to do basically has to be the effort of the mother and the father, and it's call them carbon copy. It's a product of the mother and the father, which is the child. So now, human reproduction system ensures that, with the exception of identical twins, there are no two genetically identical people in the world. Exactly. Your genetics can never be the same. Even though you are identical, genetics can never be the same. Even though you are a twin, there is no two genetically identical people in the world. Let's take that point down. There are no two genetically identical people in the world. We have identical people, but we don't have genetically identical people. Now, let me explain that to us. Now, if even though like get twins, like identical twins that they look very much alike, get their thumbprints. Their thumbprints can never be the same. Exactly. Get their thumbprints. That's one way to know that they can never be genetically the same. Even though they are the same twins, they came out the same day from their mother's tummy. They can never be genetically, their genetics can never be the same. So that is that for that. So now that we are 5, before we move on, okay, let me see. Okay, let's just quickly do this. So before we talk about the self-assessment too, then we can discuss about the TME. So we have if you think about a large family with a number of brothers and sisters, each member may share common characteristics, but they will also be identifiable differences. I mean, this is just what I've just explained, so let's not dwell so much on that. Let us consider the example of criminality. You may have your own view as to whether or not crime runs in families. Now, the evidence suggests that children born to criminal parents run an increased risk of becoming criminals themselves. Very true, because in the genetics of the parent, the criminality is already in their gene. So the chances of the children also becoming a thief is also there. Now it now depends on that individual himself choice whether to steal or not, but it's already in the chance of them stealing is already in the genetics because their parents are thieves. So we parents we really need to be careful of the person we are and the person we are getting married to, because definitely our children get, I mean, I'm not yet married and I've not gotten any children, but according to what the material is saying now, a child genetic is made up a child genetic makeup is made up from both parent genes makes up a child's genetic. So please, we need to be careful of what we do. We need to be careful of the kind of person we are, so we can make life a little bit easy for our unborn children. I mean, one thing we said about yesterday is about the mental age. As parents, if you don't work on your mental age and you get married to somebody who hasn't worked so much on a mental age too, I mean, your children might struggle because they might not be intelligent, they might not be, their IQ might not be good enough. But as a parent, if you can develop your IQ, I mean, there's a general saying that goes like this, that a goat cannot give birth to a dog, neither can a dog give birth to a goat. I mean, your child is just a product of you. So if you feel you want to have a child who is smart, you should ask yourself this question: am I smart? So that's that for that. That's a good side actually. There's a bad side too, which is the criminal part of it. So those who wish to argue for this importance of genetic factor often look to study of twins for evidence to support their viewpoints. There are two distinct types of twins. We have identical and the non-identical. Now, the name implies identical twins are genetically identical and result as a splitting of zygote around the time of conception. Zygote is actually a cell that differentiates identical twins, that differentiates characters. Now, such twins are referred to as monozygote or MZ. Now, for identical twins, anything at the mono is two. Yeah, mono. Yeah, monozygote, or I think the division of something. Yeah, division, mono. Now, or MZ. Non-identical twins are the result of two different eggs being fertilized by two different sperm around the same point in time. Now, non-identical twins are also known as dizygotes or dizzy. Now, we said identical twins are known as monozygotes, but non-identical twins are known as dizygotes. Now, the monozygote is MZ and the dizygote is DZ. Now, note that although they are conceived at the same time, they are genetically no more similar than brothers or sisters conceived and born different times, because they are genetically identical. MZ, monozygote twins will always be the same sex, whereas dizygote twins are sometimes of the same sex but sometimes of different sex. Now, under the monozygote and the dizygote, it is said that the MZ twins will always be the same sex, but the DZ twins will sometimes be the same sex and sometimes not be the same sex. So now that is that for that. So let's just talk about, okay, our self-assessment says have you ever come across any set of twins? What are your impressions? Okay, I think that's just more of an open-ended test. It's more of expressing what you feel. There's no direct answer to this. So now let's talk about the TMA very quickly before we round off the class. Or I think we are just very few minutes to round off the class. Should we just finish with the class before I talk about TMA? What do we feel about that? Everyone in the class, what do you feel about that? Should we just quickly round off with the class, then we'll close tonight's class about the discussion of the TMA? I need your suggestions on this. What are our suggestions, please? Mr. Jolas, Mr. Jolas, I think I'm trying to get the search correctly. Justina, Bricky, Mr. Daniel, are you with us tonight? Mr. Abdullah, Abdussalam. Okay, yes, let's round up. Awesome. You just say let's round up. Okay, so let's just continue. So we have now, if genetics is important, then we would, Mr. Joseph, are you with us? If you are with us, please let me know. Okay, Mayamu Joseph. I think we have two Joseph. This is Mayamu Joseph. Okay, Mr. Joseph, if you are with us, please let us know. I think I sent the link to you too as well. So if genetics is important, then we would expect identical twins to be more similar than non-identical twins. Very well. For research purposes, the ideal study would be to examine pairs of twins who were separated from each other early in life to see whether they will end up with similar behavioral characteristics. Now, if this was the case, it might be suggested that genetic influences are perhaps more important than those of the environment. Now, where such research has been carried out, it shows consistently that identical twin pairs do often end up more similar than non-identical twin pair, even when they have been raised in different environments. Okay, now they are trying to say something about studying of, we are still talking about how genetics and environment affects behavior. So now we are now using the analogy of twins that are identical and non-identical twins. So it is suggested that for identical twins, that if they are separated from childhood and in separate environment where they are being brought up, if the two of them still act the same way, then we may say that environment actually does not influence. They are just giving analogies on how these things works. But if with the fact that they are being separated and they still behave almost the same, that means environment doesn't really affect our behavior. But if they are separated and they behave differently, that means the environment affects their behavior. So we have that as that. Now, we have determinants of editorial subjects. Okay, now let's quickly take this now. Lala and Gottesman reviewed some 40 years of twin studies and claimed to have found some evidence to support the view that criminal behavior might have genetic components. You must note that criminal behavior covers such vast array of actions that there can be few people who have ever committed a criminal act in their lifetime. Okay, now they are still making reference to this criminal act genetics, meaning that majority of humans in the world, that they have a little bit of crime we have a little bit of crime in our genetics, and no one can say in his or her own lifetime has not engaged in one crime or the other. Now, according to the Lala and Gottsman, I think we can take that they are the one that will find that a few people who have never committed crime acts during their lifetime. There are a few people. Now, the Lala, this is how you put it down. This is the point. The Lala and Gottesman in 1990. You understand? Reviewed 40 years of twin study. And this is what they got. They said um, there are there can be few people who have never committed a crime act in their lifetime. That is what they said. So determinant of editorial subjects. Now we saw in the previous section that genetics can play an important role in understanding human behavior very well. Have we seen that now that genetics plays an important role in understanding? That's why sometimes if some persons want to get married, they want to dig deep into the family. What is their history? I mean, all these things lead to the genetics. Definitely will tell more of genetics of the grandchildren of the children, but it does not really, it's not an absolute theory for finding out the behavior, but one can use an approach, not a method, because a method is a standard of doing something, but an approach is an option of how something can be done. So it's not a method, but it can be an approach. You understand? So that is that for that. So from the moment of conception, the developing child. Now, developing child is subject to all sorts of environmental influences. Even in the womb, the child may develop differently in mothers if the mother smoke, take drugs, or is ill while pregnant. Definitely. Now, they're also saying something about if a developing child in his mother's womb, so this child can be influenced by the environment. Now, for example, if the mother smokes, the child can grow to be a smoker. But I think that is even more of genetics. Yeah, to me, I think that's more of genetics. So Alsana 2000 says, once born, the baby will subject to a vast array of environmental influence that will help shape his or her. Okay, as the writer explained elsewhere, environment is the aggregate of all external and internal conditions affecting the existence, growth, and welfare of organism and the child in particular. So let's take that down quickly. Alsana 1983 said environment is the aggregate of all external. Aggregate in the sense that environment is the total of all external and internal conditions affecting the existence, the lifetime, the growth, and welfare of organisms in general and a child in particular. Now, the keywords are the total of all external and internal conditions affecting the existence, the growth, and the welfare of organisms in general and a child in particular. Very well, very true. Yeah. So we have a child's okay. Okay, it is obvious that environment can exert a powerful influence on behavior, but when it comes to explaining our own behavior, humans are not always willing to accept these facts. Well, to a great degree, you know, environment does affect our behavior very well, but I still feel genetics has more influence. Definitely, you can't compare. Even though you are actually a white man and your wife is also, maybe two of you are both Americans, and you're located to Nigeria and you give birth to a child in Nigeria. I think to some extent the child, if it if the parent takes it upon themselves to deliberately teach their child their language, speak with their accent to the child will learn. But no matter how much effort the parents can impute in the child's life, the environment where the child grows, if they speak pidgin, this child will also over time, he will learn how to speak this pidgin because it's the environment. This is the environment he relates with. This is the environment he communicates with. This is the environment where he's been bred. That's one thing about environment. Environment does can influence by few genetics because you cannot when the child now gets a reasonable amount, like a reasonable a particular stage in life, it's now left for the child to say no, this is what I want for myself, and I'll not be influenced by the environment. But the point, consciously or unconsciously, the environment has an influence on that child's behavior. So now, let us cite an example. Police officers will tend to presume that the vast majority of people who are arrested and questioned might initially deny the offense, but may eventually confess to the crime. Now, it may never occur to officer concerned that if a person does confess, this results from the powerful situation of environment forces to which the subject is subjected. You know why I'm laughing? This is actually this is typically Nigerian police. A lot of persons that are arraigned, a lot of persons that are arrested, definitely might not even commit on that offense which they have been alleged of. But as an influence of heavy forces from the environment, maybe torture, the arraigned might confess and accept that he did the crime. So definitely environment here has influenced the individual, to take up. Oh, excuse me, that was my mouse. So definitely environment here in this scenario has influenced. So this discussion tonight is quite slim. Environment and genetics, both of them does influence the behavior. Now in this unit you have learned this unit now we've been able to talk about the influences on behavior. Now therefore the important role of genetics in all human behavior, but genetics rarely has a direct or total influence. Very true. Just like the way environment too does not have total or direct influence. So we also learn the environment in which people are raised must be considered. Now we have what have you learned in this unit concern the role of genetics and environment. Okay, so that is that for that. Um, our assignments for tonight will be understanding about nature and explain the word nurture. State two reasons why nature versus nurture debate is very important. Complement and complete this sentence. Human behavior is the result of complex interaction between a large number of variables, but are most important of which are dash and dash. So these are our assignments. Let's well to attend to our assignments and submit it on the WhatsApp group of the classroom. But many of you who are not yet in the classroom, you can always reach out to me if you want to join the classroom. There's a classroom where we attend to cases, and many of them are in the classroom. I will definitely see them through when it comes to TMA. That's one of the advantage for being in the classroom because I will guide them personally when it comes to the issue of TMA. So about TMA now, it's a normal thing for everyone to panic, especially for 100 level students. It's a normal thing. We want to know why this is this, why that is that. And many of us have been having issues lately on how to access the portal. And I believe the issues now is the complaint these days about accessing the portal has been reducing or it has reduced drastically. One thing when I went to the school to complain about, I made some complaint then that some persons were unable to log in. So one of the stuff they told me then was that we should exercise some patience that they will sooner than later be able to log in as the portal will open for that. So about TMA, one thing about TMA you should know is that TMA is very important, but it's not as important as your exam. In my 100 level first semester, I had a TMA that I scored 5 over 30. Yes. And in this TMA, I think that's the introduction to, I think that's boss 105. Introduction to business or something. Yeah, boss 105. Then, one thing again you'll be experiencing it now, which I pray you guys will not experience it, is that when the system crashes, or when the system malfunctions. Okay, let me even explain this to you before we talk about system crashing or system malfunctioning. Oh, Mr. Julas, thank you very much. He said hit the like button. Thank you very much. Please, if you are here to like the video, please do well to hit the like button so that you can support and encourage me to do more of this. So, about the TMA, before I even talk about the system of the school crashing or not, one thing about it is that tutored mark assignment, the way it works is that when your portal has been uploaded with your TMAs, you open them before you can access. I think then last year they opened all the TMAs at once, but I think this year now they are doing it one after the other. So before you definitely get to access your question, before your question is being open to you, you need to tick some boxes. Don't worry, don't panic. All these things are very simple and well explanatory, self-explanatory. When you click on the box, when you get to your home page and you see all your courses, not the one listed on the left corner, the major ones whereby you see them, they will write there, there'll be a picture and the name of the course will be under. Those are the major things. So when you see all those, so when you click on one particular course and it opens another interface. Now that interface is opens to you. You see some statement, then you see small box. Excuse me, whereby if you click on them, it will mark. So now before you click on those box, don't do this mistake. Click on the statement before the box. That's one mistake we did in our time. It was then it was even videos. When nobody told us then. I think that was my GST 101. I had incomplete results, and this was my best. This was my best of the best. In my TMA I had 28, and in the exam I had 45. No, was it 45? No, no, that was not 45. I had 55. You understand? That was my best exam. You understand? And it came out as incomplete. So when I later found out that what could have been the problem, TMAs are very delicate, especially all these GSTs. You have to be very careful with them. And although then, unlike now that you guys have a different portal whereby you do your TMAs and you have a different portal for registration and everything. No, then it was the same portal for registration. That was the same portal I was in for our TMAs. It's just TMA courses that they put on this same portal you guys are using to do your TMAs now. So TMA GST courses are different. Where we are going to attend them, they are different from where we are going to do other courses that are not TMAs. They are not GSTs. So GSTs then were very complicated. And most time all these TMA agents, they don't really want to tell you the truth because they know that if they tell you, you will not give them the work. You will have known all the secret and you don't want to give them the work. But me, a lot of people that reached out to me, TMA agents, I do TMA for people, but doing TMA for people is not my priority because I want you to do your TMA yourself because your exams are more of like your TMA. The way your TMA comes out, that's how the way your exam comes out too. So and if I must do like last semester, those people I did TMA for, that they say okay, work and everything. Okay, now if I must do your TMA for you, I will do a record of how I solved the TMA so I can send it to you so you can watch it and learn. But I don't really want to be doing TMA for people. Understand? So now when you get into that interface after you have clicked on the course, before you click that box, before you tick the box, because you must tick you must tick all the boxes before the question can open. For example, now if it's 1 to 5, okay, but you will guide me and put me through. It's not a problem. Guiding you and putting you through is not. Okay, about guiding and put you through. Will get there. So, for example, now if you get to the interface and you have list of things on the interface, it's 1 to 10. So 1 to 3, maybe meet your facilitator. Maybe that's the first. Maybe introduction to the course is the first thing. You click on it, then it opens, takes you somewhere else. So when you come down, you will see previous, you will see next. If you click on next, it will take you to meet your facilitator. If you click on next, it will take you to maybe online classes that you have missed. You just make sure that everywhere is taking you to engage, engage. Click on them. Don't mark the box yet. Click on them, click on them, click on them, engage. If you get to a place where you watch video, if you cannot watch the video, play the video, then fast forward it to the end. Make sure you play the video, then fast forward it to the all these things count. Play the video, fast forward it to the end. Sometime on that interface, because just like what we are doing too, facilitation programs they are called, and they are mostly for TMAs. Facilitation programs are programs whereby just like what I am doing now, that I'm doing now is the same thing as facilitation program. It's just that them the school is paying them to do that. You understand? The school has hired them and the school is paying them to do that. So especially for GST courses, they used to do that. So if you have missed a class, the video will be uploaded on your portal. So they will say watch. You can have like 5 videos on that portal, on that your portal. Make sure that one after the other. If you cannot watch from beginning to the end, just play it, then fast forward it to the end. Do it for all the videos on your portal. Oh, Mr. Joseph Abraham, you're welcome. You came a bit very late. Oh. You might have to come and rewatch because we are done with tonight's class. I just discussing about TMA. You have to come back and watch the whole thing when the class is over. So after you are done watching all the video, click on next again. When you click on next, definitely to tell you to download the material. Make sure you download it. Even though you have the material on your phone before, still download it again. Because if you not download it, it will not allow you to mark that box. Please don't make the mistake of when you enter your portal, you're just marking the box. No, engage with all those, because all those statements before you tick the box, they are called user interface statement. User interface, it says that if you click on them, it will take you to another interface. They're not just letters. They're letters you can click on. They're like they are called users interface, because when you click on them, it will take you to another place. Like they are hyperlinks. You understand? So click on everything. So when you click on everything, finish, then you know that you have downloaded and everything. You can now come back to the home page and you begin to mark. Probably I'll do a tutorial for that, but let me just prepare our mind now towards it. And I believe with this one that we are saying that you have understand it. No, that is setting you up for the TMA. So now that you have now set up correctly for the TMA, you now want to do the TMA. When you now click on the TMA, when the question comes out, first, before you say you want to do your TMA, you must have installed the application WPS. Now, what is WPS? WPS is an application that will help you to view PDF documents on your phone. I strongly recommend WPS and this other one called I think it's Polaris File. That one too works well. Sorry, excuse me. WPS works well. Polaris File works well. Those are the two I've used and I know they work really well. You might have other ones too that you are using. Why I say they work really well is because there's this option of search, where you can search for a particular word on your system. Now if you want to search, now if you're using a system, which I even encourage, if you have a system, all good, no issues, because your system now will allow you to multitask on your screen. You can have like 2 divided screen on one screen, which phone might not allow you. Phone now you have to minimize, maximize, but your system, you have the 2 screen, 2 different tabs, each tab, one for your TMA, one for your material, to be on your system, so you can to make it easy for you. But no worries, if you don't have a system, automatically you have WordPress on your system, so you don't need to download anything. But if you're using a phone, download that WPS. If you don't know how to use that WPS, I have done a tutorial on that WPS on how you can use it to solve your TMAs. You understand? So now, after you have downloaded that WPS, you open it. The course you are using, you go and open the material and keep on your WPS. So for example, now if you are now opening the TMA on your portal, when you open it and see the question, just stay put. Now, if you have been listening to this class, I used to say a thing a lot, which is the key points. Now, For example, if you come across a question like let me take this from the material. Okay, let's go back to the material, page 78. Page 78. Now, okay, let me look for something we can easily see. Okay, okay, now 3.0, page 74. 3.0, check behavior dash genetic influences. Now, under behavior and genetic influences, the first paragraph we have said one of the longest running debates in psychology is nature versus nature debate, full stop. Now, so in your TMA, if you come across a question like one of the longest running debates in psychology is the dash versus dash debates. That's how they said their question. Tell me, one of the longest running debates in psychology is the dash versus dash debate. What are you to do? Just pick two key points. Sometimes if it depends on the question, you can pick two, you can pick three key points, or you can just crop. For many of us that use system, you should understand the word crop or copy. You can use your phone. If you want to copy on your phone, just that WPS now, when you download it on your phone, any word you want to copy and go and search it or search, copy to paste somewhere so you can search, just do a long press. When you do a long press, a blue, it will be highlighted in blue. When it highlights in blue, you click on copy. When you copy it, just that word you have copied, could be two, it could be three, it could be the whole. I will not encourage you to copy the whole thing because the arrangement in the question might be different from the arrangement in the material. So just pick two or three keywords and go back to your material. And in your WPS, which you have opened your material, we are 8 watching this video now, and we have just 4 people who has liked. Please, the remaining 4, why have you not liked this video? Please like this video. So pick the key points you have copied from the TMA portal and go to your WPS, the material you have opened. In your WPS, there's an option for you to search. You can watch tutorial on the channel. I have a tutorial for that. So when you get to the option of search, it will bring it out for you. Oh, Mr. Daniel, you're just joining us. You're welcome. You have to do well to watch the class after the end of this class. You have to come back and watch the class. Blessing. You came very late, but we at least you still meet us something. Please, you guys should smash the like button. Blessing and Mr. Daniel. Please, you guys should like it. So when you paste what you've copied from your TMA portal, you paste it on the material in WPS and search. If you have picked the right keyword, the way it has been displayed in your TMA portal is exactly the way it will display on your material. Why you are using your phone is because phone now, that WPS now will take you start if it's in the material, because sometimes they don't take question from the material. Now does that a lot, and that's one thing that happened. Okay, no, that was not even my own case. My own case then in Boss 105, it was even different. Those answers were in the material, the way they were asking those questions, and I can see them. Oh, thank you guys, 6 persons have liked the video, 2 more persons to go. So in my own case then in 100 level, the course that I had 5/30, I saw the answers, they were correct, and I input them correctly, but it keeps marking me wrong. When I went to the school and complained, then they said the system was malfunctioning. So all my own points that I have lost, how does it come back? Lower the Womikin way. Sorry for that. That's Yoruba. Mean that the problem, I don't feel go front, I don't feel go back. All my points I've lost. It took the grace of God for me not to fail that course. That was the only time I had a D throughout my so was it even D or E I had? I think it's D or E. And that was the only time throughout my programming now. That is the only D whether it was D or E I had then. It was serious then. The only people that passed well, the only people that passed that particular course well were people that gave their TMA to TMA contractors, because those ones they used to buy software, and in that software, exactly the way it has been programmed on the system is the way they have programmed it. So questions like that, me I'm choosing the right answer and it's marking me down. The correct answer is the wrong answer. So if I have chose the wrong answer, it should have marked me right, because that was how it was programmed. But that should not be your problem. I think it was just in that level that it happened. Ever since then, I have not experienced it again. Some people say it happens, but ever since then, the least I've ever gotten in my TMA is, I think, it's 15. And me, I focus more on exam. You understand? At least in your TMA, at least you should get a minimum of 15 out of 30. But I encourage us to get 25, 28, 30, 30. It will help. It will help boost your results. You can imagine if you have gotten 25 in your TMA and you come to exam and you have like 40 over 70. I mean, that's a B. So that is how it works literally. So you just get the question, you get the keyword from your TMA, and you go and paste it on your material. You will see it will bring out this complete statement for you, and you will read through and you check your question, and that's where you extract your answers from, and that's how you do it till you finish everything. But in the case of mathematics, some is different in the case of mathematics, because sometimes you might have to look outside your materials. There was a time like that was last semester. Many of them that helped me doing their mathematics, because many of them will say, I can't do mathematics, help me to do it. I will charge them. Understand? So many of them that I used to do mathematics from, some of the questions are not even from the material. I think there's a place I used to get my solutions from mathematics. There's a class that I used to go then and chat with them and submit the questions, and many of them sometimes they help me, sometimes I do it myself, but it requires a lot of research and effort. But sometimes, especially in your own level, although last semester it was different for this previous set, they had a lot of calculations in their TMA. But sometimes, that's most time in other level, your mathematics is more of theory than calculation. So it all depends. Let's not just panic. So that's just it about the TMA. So I really encourage us to, some persons if they don't even do their TMA, you just give it out because there's enough distraction for them. They want to focus. But if you want to do your TMA yourself, you have to actually be very careful and you have to pay attention to detail. You can check the channel. I think I have about TMA made easy. Anything that has to do with TMA on the channel. I think I have about 40 videos about TMA on the channel. You can just go to YouTube and search TMA made easy. I'm the only person with that keyword. No other person. TMA made easy. Just push it like that. You see all the classes I've done on TMA made easy. And all my classes that I've done is basically public admin and business admin. So you can be lucky, but the thing is just that some are 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level. I did not just focus on one level because a lot of levels, like I think about 5 persons now, if I'm not mistaken, has already paid me since last. I think the first two paid me since last 2 months. The other 3 persons paid me last month. This month now, nobody has paid me for anything. I already have five people. That's why when somebody reached out to me that am I interested in doing TMA for people, I said no, because I already have 5 people on my list. Anyone I'm doing TMA for now, there are going to be very few selected people. I don't want anybody who will come and pay me peanut and come and be disturbing me, TMA, TMA, this, TMA, that. No. And those 5 people that paid me, that has been for long. So the moment the TMA opens now, I'm doing that TMA for them ASAP. That is that for that about TMA, guys. And that brings us to the end of today's class. Thank you very much. If I said something you really don't understand, you can as well still talk to me on WhatsApp. I'm very much reachable, and I think everybody in the class has my WhatsApp number. Do well to drop your WhatsApp, chat with me on WhatsApp, and we can get on and rolling. This brings us to the end of today's class. The MTH 105 class, I've done it since yesterday, but today throughout our work, I've been very busy. I could not even edit it and upload it. So hopefully tomorrow I will edit and upload the video. I think thank you very much, Mr. Julas. Thank you. Good night. So hopefully I will edit and upload the video. It's a continuation of connectives, and it's we talked about conjunction and disconjunction. So those are the two things I spoke about in the video, and I did some calculations on them. Thank you very much, guys. Good night, and I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's class. Thank you very much. Good night. Okay.